Today we have a special guest. Joel Bowen is joining us from Chang Mai in Thailand. He is the owner of Team Quest out there. He's also a professional fighter. How are you doing, Joel?
Good, Don. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have. You're the first guest on the podcast. We've been doing predictions for betting and a couple of parodies here and there. So you're the privileged first guest.
All right, but I haven't had much success with sports betting, so I'll give it a go.
So your Team Quest in Thailand. How did that all come about? I guess you must have known the guys from Oregon, yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in Oregon, and just the closest gym to my house back in the day was Team Quest, so I just kind of got lucky and wandered in there, and then became.
Was the Westland gangster in there when you went in?
Yeah, he was there every day back in the day. Yeah, for sure.
So how did it come about that you started up in Thailand with Team Quest?
It started out as maybe back in, I think it was like 2008. I just wanted to work on my Muay Thai, so me and a couple friends, we ended up coming over to Thailand just to train some Muay Thai, and then every time I was over here, I just I couldn't get enough of it, so I'd go home and just want to come back. So eventually just kind of came up with the idea of opening up an MMA gym, and kind of chatted with Matt Linlin about it, and kind of got his thoughts on it, and he loved the idea. So
is he still the boss of Team Quest, pretty much?
Yeah, still the big boss.
And what happened? I'm pretty sure he set it up with Randy and Henderson back in the day, right? In the 90s or something. Probably would have been one of the first MMA camps, I think. But I remember Randy went off and did Extreme Couture. Did they have a falling out, or was it just purely to make some more money with gyms?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on all the politics that went on, but I think the original three owners were Matt Linlin, Randy Couture, and Robert Follis, who was the head coach there for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I think Dan Henderson just owned the one in Temecula, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah, but I'm not really sure on all the politics. I tried not to get too much into it, because I guess I just don't know enough about it. So.
And an interesting part of it for me, that just running a gym, because I have a couple of businesses myself, and I always wondered, is it more of a labor of love running one of these gyms, especially out in Thailand, where I guess the average salary is a good bit lower, or do you actually make some cash, or you just pretty much make a living for yourself?
Yeah, pretty much just make a living. I mean, before this, I gave up a pretty good income just because this is something I wanted to do. And
was that your poker income? Was it?
Yeah, but before I played some professional poker, and then kind of used that, and then my business partner threw in some money, and that's how we opened up this gym.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's more labor of love. I mean, it's you only live one life, so you got to do what you want to do, really.
Yeah, I played a lot of poker myself, not in a long time, but in the early 2000s, I used to play a lot of live poker.
Oh, nice.
Toyed with the idea of doing pro poker as well, but it's such a kind of degenerate. It sounds real glamorous, but
it sounds glamorous, but it's a pretty bad lifestyle. I mean, it's a pretty nasty lifestyle. It's good money, but I didn't really want to live that lifestyle anymore.
Yeah, I can remember my buddy going out to work, and I'd be sitting on the couch with five tables open, with one eye closed, just playing aces and kings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just being super tight.
Yeah. So, but yeah, not getting out and pretty much sitting in front of a computer or sitting at a table for 12 hours at a time. You degenerate pretty much. But
yeah, and it gives you an excuse not to train because you get mad when you lose money, and
yeah, you have to win it back. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you win money, you're too excited to go to the gym. You just want to go spend it.
Just want to celebrate.
Yeah.
So what's Chiang Mai like? That's northern Thailand. Like, I've spent a bit of time in Thailand, but never up north. Is it less touristy, or is it a different type of tourist maybe up there?
It's definitely less touristy. Like down in the islands and stuff, it's just the stereotypical tourist that comes over, spends a lot of money, parties and stuff like that. But up in Chiang Mai, it's like
The go-go bars are a bit, not so many go-go bars in Chiang Mai.
yeah, not so many. That's not really my scene. So yeah, it's why I love it up here so much. It's just more jungle. You know, it's like it's a pretty big city up here, but it's got kind of a small town feel.
Mm. Kind of
So
like
it's just
the movie Kickboxer, maybe.
yeah, I do. I'll be honest, I haven't seen that movie.
You haven't seen it? That's like one of the, I think it was like 1987 or something, Van Damme. Van Damme goes over with his brother, and his brother gets paralyzed by this Thai boxer. So
Okay.
Van Damme goes up to the mountains to train with this old super Thai boxing dude. You should check it out. If you're living in Thailand, that's a movie you got to see, I think.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. So what kind of fighters do you get passing through there?
Um, to be honest, like we actually have more of like a core group of guys that are out here year round.
Hmm.
You know, we get the occasional. I mean, we get fighters that come out, but we are specifically trying to keep a small MMA team that we can give a lot of focus to. Like
Yeah,
we have,
you have some
uh,
pretty got some guys that are doing pretty well, right?
yeah, for sure. We have Jeremy Kennedy, who's fighting out of, you know, he's from Vancouver, BC. Uh, he came and joined us when he was like 2-0, and over the last year we've helped him get to like 7-0, and he just won the Battlefield Fight League title, which is like one of the biggest organizations in Vancouver, BC. We got Mark Abelardo, who's from New Zealand. He's fighting in PXC now, which is one of the biggest organizations in the Philippines, Pacific Extreme Combat. Yeah, we got a ton of guys. We have Dylan Fussell, who's headlined the last two Full Metal Dojos, which is the biggest organization in Thailand.
Nice.
We have a few fighters in 1FC. We have Tanapong Kunhong Gao, who's a Thai guy. And then we have Bashir Ahmad, who's going to be joining us in a few days. He's had like 3 fights in 1FC, I think. So.
And you started fighting yourself professionally last year, yeah?
Yeah, just at the end of last year, you know, like all of our fighters had so many fights, and it was just sort of the end of the year, and everybody's wrapping down, and had some opportunities arise. Because usually I'm spending most of my time trying to help these guys get fights and stuff to help their career, but just you know they weren't really available. Like you know, they'd go home for Christmas and stuff, and some opportunities popped up, so I took advantage of it.
And how did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. It's good. I mean, the fighting part is fun, but I'm not a big fan of the build up. You know, cutting the weight and
Yeah, so
just
what kind of, well, I guess you turn up to training, you're already sweating in Thailand, right?
yeah. But up in Chiang Mai, like in December and January, it's a little bit cooler than it is down south, so it gets pretty cold in the mornings and stuff. So
So what's your weight cut strategy? Because one of the guys who cuts the most weight is T-Bow. I don't know if you know Gleison T-Bow, and cuts a lot of weight, like 30 pounds or 25 pounds. And his camp is always saying he just drinks 8 liters of water a day leading up, and this pisses out a lot of the fat out of his body. But then another guy came out last week and said T-Bow's pumped full of diuretics on his way to a fight. So,
I think it's pumped.
what's your strategy?
You know, like basically, I'll try to start my, you know, maybe a week out be 71 kilos or so. So up until that point, you know, usually I walk around like 75 kilos. So up until that point, I'll just start reducing. Sorry.
How tall are you?
I'm about 5'10".
Okay, yeah, the same size as me, and I walk around at 75 as well. So what are you cutting down to fight?
Yeah, so you know, up until I get to about a week out at 71 kilos, I'll just you know slowly reduce my calories. I'll be eating just only fresh fruits and vegetables and lean meats, coconut oil, stuff like that. And then about a week out, I'll just cut my carbs and start my water load about 5 days out. And so like the first day it'll be what is it 6 liters. The next 2 days is 8 liters, and then the fourth day is 6 liters. And then 24 hours before you just piss it all out and good to go. Rehydrate, feeling good.
What are you weighing in at?
66 kilos. So
Yeah,
it's like 145 pounds.
you must feel pretty drained on that day, right?
No, it's not. It's not too bad. Like by the time you know, um, if I start my weight cut at about 71 kilos I mean, I've been still eating through the whole week and stuff, so it's not like I'm not getting nutrients and
And
stuff.
what's
So it's
your
pretty easy.
strategy to rehydrate? Like, what do you do straight after you weighed in?
Um, to be honest, it could be a lot better. I just threw some electrolytes in with some drink and
Mm.
with some water and stuff. It wasn't anything too scientific on that.
I guess you can't be eating a lot of stuff. You're not gonna feel good if your stomach's not used to having a lot of food the last week. If you'd have a big meal, you'd probably get sick.
Yeah, I just ate like some fruit and stuff for a few hours, and slowly started to add in the carbs and stuff a little bit later.
So out in Thailand, yeah, so Thai boxing is obviously a big thing there. But did you bring a wrestling base before you started your Thai boxing? Given that you were in Oregon, the wrestling center of the UFC's history.
Yeah, I started out training there, so the jiu-jitsu and grappling that I learned was pretty much wrestling based.
Hmm.
So I would say I definitely have a wrestling base.
And have you heard Conor lately? Conor McGregor, he's saying that a lot of the Thai boxers they're a bit flat-footed. He thinks Aldo's a bit flat-footed with his Thai boxing style. What do you reckon about that kind of statement?
Um, I agree with them for sure. I definitely think a lot of them are flat-footed, but I think Aldo's a different beast. He's not just flat-footed. He uses his angles really well, and
Hmm.
anytime someone's got a lot of power, they're dangerous. So
Yeah, he does have power. That's going to be a cracking fight. Really looking forward to it when it happens. But one other thing I wanted to ask you about, and that is specifically because of Team Quest and everything. Back in the day, it seemed like Lindland and Randy were the guys who invented almost the cage grappling and the dirty boxing. And I saw you put a post up on the forum a couple of weeks ago about cage work and stuff like that. And like Randy used to dominate fights. I remember him dominating guys like Gonzaga with his dirty boxing, and it seems to have changed a little bit. Are people learning how to defend dirty boxing better, or what? How do you think the cage work has been evolving in the last few years since the days of Randy pinning people up there?
yeah, I think people are just getting more educated. I mean, there's so much information out there now on YouTube and everything else. Like if you find that you're getting stuck in certain positions in training, it's really easy just to jump on YouTube and figure out what's going on. I think it's just a matter of even back in the Gonzaga days. That was probably only like what 5 years ago or something. But even back then, I think people didn't really know what the hell Randy was doing still.
They figured it out recently, did they?
Yeah, it's hard. It's getting hard to hold people on the cage. That's for sure.
Yeah, what was interesting was the debate at the weekend because Henderson was fighting Thatch, and Henderson was obviously a lot smaller than Thatch, and he was even like Thatch was the favorite. And I couldn't understand how Thatch was the favorite because he never really fought anyone of a high level. But everyone was thinking Thatch is going to walk through Henderson because he's much bigger. But like Randy made a career out of taking out guys with his technique who are much bigger, and that Gonzaga fight is a perfect example. I remember just
Yeah,
beating
for
him up
sure. Like,
on stage. And, yeah. What did you
yeah.
think about that fight, Henderson and Thatch?
Um, I actually only watched the first round because over here in Thailand is we get kind of a bad connection and stuff. So
Hmm.
I was able to play around, and then my internet kind of cut out. But I haven't been able to go watch the whole fight. So
Yeah, he pretty much. I think it was the fourth round he choked him out. It was
yeah, I saw that. I read that on
Yeah,
online.
I saw it coming. I had a good bet on it as well, but I saw it coming. That I mean, he just had too much skills, even with the size disadvantage. But you reckon that the old dirty boxing might be fading a bit out of the game?
Um, I think it's fading a bit just because people's clinches are getting better. I mean, I think back in the day, most people's clinches were just straight wrestling, looking for takedowns and stuff like that. And I think as people are starting to evolve, they're starting to use different tools. Like they're adding their elbows and their knees, and on top of their wrestling, on top of their dirty boxing. I think it's harder to sit in there and use your dirty boxing when people have more tools.
Yeah, maybe John Jones is probably the only guy who's kind of really evolved it. I remember
Yeah,
when we saw the fight with Rashad. I can remember these. They were pretty much dirty boxing, short elbows to the face that were just destroying Rashad. I guess maybe that was the next level.
yeah, absolutely. You can tell that John Jones does his homework. I've been actually watching it, especially like we were talking about on the cage. If you watch his style in the cage, he has a very different style than everybody else. Everybody else tries to get their underhook and pin people against the cage, and he always goes for that overhook because he's got that leverage.
Yeah, I saw him. I
So he's
saw him
able to do a lot more.
putting like his chin into Cormier's shoulder and neck area, and then just you see his body is kind of leveraging against him. Cormier just couldn't do anything. Supposedly the best wrestler in
Yeah,
the organization, he was totally nullified.
yeah, absolutely.
So okay, have you got another fight coming up, or what's your plan?
No, I don't have anything coming up right now. We have a ton of guys that are fighting this week. We have 5 guys that are fighting MMA this week, and one
Wow,
guy that has a Muay Thai fight this week. So
are you kind of managing these guys?
yeah, I'm managing them. It's just it's not like official. We don't have I don't take any money from them or anything like that. But I help them get fights, and
Cool.
some of them have managers back home where their managers will help them get fights also. So then we kind of you know hit it in 2 different directions.
Mm. Are
Um,
we gonna be
because
are we gonna be seeing
it's hard to get fights though.
are we gonna be seeing any of your guys in
Sorry.
the UFC in the next couple of years? You think?
Like Jeremy Kennedy, he's going to be there in another fight for sure. Um, he's a really high level guy, and it's just a matter of time for him. He's this 21-year-old phenom.
Mm.
Mark Abelardo, I think he's 9-3 now in PXC. He's got he's won his last 4 fights, and his last 3 were first round knockouts, I believe. So another win for him, or another 2 wins for him, he'll be right there too.
Cool, excellent. And so, if anyone wants to go and train out in your gym in Thailand, what do you say? Is it what kind of funds do they need to go out there and do that? Can they do it pretty slimline?
Yeah, for sure. I would say like it really depends on what your goals are. Like if you come here and you're wanting to just kind of train a bit and you're wanting to party, you're probably going to spend as much money as you do at home.
Mm.
Um, but if you're coming and you want to budget, I mean, we have rooms like apartment studios around the gym that are maybe like $100 a month.
Nice.
Um, yeah, super cheap. That includes electric and water and all that stuff, internet, and then yeah, I mean, if you're a decent level fighter and you're interested, we're always offering sponsorship also. So you can hit us up on that.
I can imagine, like for someone or an up and coming fighter living in Oregon, even it'd be pretty nice to get out to Thailand and live for a couple of months and train and just enjoy some really good weather and a different lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we're focused on is building fighters. I'm not really interested in having a tough vet, you know,
Mm.
come that has 20 fights. Like, there's nothing for him out in Thailand. There's someone's had 20, 30 fights. You're not going to find anything in Asia. Like the big organizations don't want to sign you because you probably don't have that good of a record, and they're trying to build Asian MMA.
Mm.
Whereas like these guys in here that are 1-0, 2-0, we have something to work with. So
Yeah, so we want some young, hungry guys heading out there.
yeah, absolutely, because we have like the vets in the room already that can help them. Like our coach Dylan Fussell, he's amazing. He's been my coach since 2004. and he's been with Quest since they started. So we have people like him that can help guide those people. He's got a lot of experience working with fighters already in the UFC. He's working with like Pat Healy before he came out to Thailand, and Mike Pierce, and Dave Jansen, who is the Bellator tournament champion.
Yeah, good fighters. All right, well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there, Joe. But thanks for coming on. Really good and interesting to hear about Thailand. And
yeah, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, so I'll be watching out for your fighters, and hopefully we'll see them in the big league pretty soon. And let me know if you got one yourself anytime in the next couple of months, and we'll get the forum to tune in.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, buddy. See you then. Take it easy.
All right, take it easy.
Okay, guys, that's it. Another forum podcast wrapped up. I'll be back with a prediction for the weekend's card in a couple of days. Adios.